Good afternoon. My name is Kristy Molledo, and I work for the Guardian Ad Litem program in Indian River County as a child advocate manager. I want to talk to you today about a topic that's oftentimes difficult and oftentimes overlooked. I want to talk to you about a world that's hidden right in front of your eyes. As some of you may know, dependency is a hard topic, and oftentimes nobody wants to talk about it. So I want you to sit there and I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine yourself sitting in your room, reading a book, the floor is dirty, there's a mattress thrown on the floor, your parents are screaming and fighting in the other room, you hear glasses break, and you hear a knock on the door. In come the police. In come people wearing badges. You're pulled in one direction, your parents pulled in another. You have no idea what's going on. Your belongings are stuffed into a black trash bag. You're pulled into a car. You're driven to another place, oftentimes another county, and you're dropped off. And you're left there. You're scared. You're alone. You really don't know what just happened. Now I want you to imagine yourself at 4 years old. This is happening in Indian River County every single day. I witness it, I work with it, it's a problem. And to give you somewhat of an idea, on October 8th, I pulled my numbers, and in Indian River County alone, we had 168 kids in foster care system. Indian River County. These families that come into care are not families from a specific race or culture or socioeconomic background. Dependency affects such a wide range of families, ranging, and the kids that are coming into the system are newborn to 18 years old. Most of the time, the kids that come in, 1 in 3 girls, 1 in 5 boys have been sexually abused. This abuse often comes from family members or friends of family. 1 in 5 children are abandoned, neglected, or abused on some level. These children are exposed to addiction. They're not bathed. Their basic needs to survive are oftentimes not met. The parents leave them to go on substance abuse binges for hours, sometimes days. These children don't make it to school. I've had kids that have missed 90 days of school, and no one's called. I only found out after the case came in. They missed 90 days of school. So you're sitting there and you're wondering, how can we help? What can we do? Why does this keep occurring? It keeps occurring because it's generational. It's a generational thing. These parents are suffering from mental health issues, addiction, domestic violence, but these are all things that are stemming from their own childhood often, or a traumatic event, and then those things are passed from them right onto their kids. And it's a repeated cycle, and it continues. So these children are walking in their homes, they're seeing needles on their floors, pipes, needles in their parents' arms, violence between their parents, and it's normal. It's normal because it's the only environment these children know. And they don't realize that they're suffering abuse at the hands of the people that were meant to protect them. I have seen success. I have seen the young man that's failing high school, that had all D's and F's. I've seen him turn his life around, catch up in school, get those straight A's, and graduate on time. I've seen that. Right now, I have a little girl, and she came in the day she was born. Imagine that, taken from the hospital the day you were born from your mother. She came into care, and she was exposed, and she was at risk for sexual abuse. So as time progressed, the child was extremely delayed. She wasn't growing in size, and she wasn't gaining weight. The doctor said she was failing to thrive. Later, she gets diagnosed with fetal alcohol syndrome. But let me tell you, this little girl was so incredibly lucky. She got a foster family that fought for her and made things happen that seemed unthinkable. This little girl was not speaking. She wasn't communicating with anyone. And now, after going to a special needs class, special daycare, she got occupational, speech, and physical therapy. Her foster family went above and beyond most of the foster families I work with, taking her to specialists outside the county that we live in, oftentimes Orlando, Jacksonville, to get her needs met. This little girl is catching up every single week, and every week I see her, she says a new word, a new sentence, and it shows me that if these children are given the right resources and the right tools, that they can overcome the trauma and break the cycle. And that's our goal as my program. That's our goal. So you're probably sitting there asking yourself how you can help. Another thing I want you to imagine is, who is the person that meant the most to you growing up? And what are the things that they offered you? And as I sat there and thought about that myself, I was like, it was time, someone to trust, and someone that loved me unconditionally. Those are three things that most of our kids never get to experience growing up in the system, growing up in a home that's chaotic, screaming, yelling, mom's on the floor with needles in her arms. Those are three things, and stability. I'll put stability in there because kids thrive in a stable environment. But my guardian ad litems go out and they provide these things for these children once they're removed from the home. They provide a sense of security, the person, the face that they've seen since the first day they've been removed from their parents. They provide them with a voice. Oftentimes they're the only truthful person to them of what's going on in the case. They take them to a ball game. They bring them lunch at school. Sometimes they're the only person that they form a trusting bond with during the duration of their cases. So I want you to realize that these guardians only go out 10 or more hours a month to see these kids, depending on the severity of the case. So not only do they form a trusting friendship bond with these children, they are their strongest advocate in the courtroom, protecting them, advocating for services, pushing the department to give them more. Without a guardian ad litem, some of these kids would fail. So as you sit there today, I want you to remember me. As you're sitting inside of a classroom teaching, or you're at a doctor's office, or in the grocery store, and you see that child that's having a hard time, that's having a meltdown in a store or at the doctor's office, or you see that child that is hitting, I want you to remember this story, and I want you to understand that dependency affects so many different people, and that child might be struggling with things unknown to you. And I want you to remember that behaviors are a form of communication, and that child may be communicating the only way that he or she knows how. So how can we help? You can start by volunteering for our program and being a child's support, being a child's voice, and being a part of their solution. Thank you.